savewithconrad.com.
My name is Mike Garner. I am a top guy with ad-free shows. I am currently living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Moved here from Arizona. Like everybody else, we shopped around for mortgages, trying to get the best deal. One of the things I wanted to do was give my buddy Conrad a shot. So I reached out to him and told him I was interested in going through the process. The team at Save with Conrad was awesome. There was a lot of communication. They were very quick to respond. They were very quick to listen to, what we needed, the complexities of selling our home with buying a new home. So it was absolutely fantastic. We felt comfortable using the team. We closed on time. The paperwork was hard to get to us. So they made sure that they sent those overnight. So there was no delays. I've tried to recommend Conrad and his team, Save with Conrad, to other people that were either looking for new mortgages or looking for ways to refi or, just trying to get on a better financial footing, because he often says that he doesn't say no. He says, maybe not right now. My name is Mike Garner, top guy with ad-free shows. Save with Conrad helped me and my family get into our dream home.
Available lesson number 212, non-equal housing lender. savewithconrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and we are live, and we are so glad to be with you here on a lovely Monday night. Of course, we're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing okay, Conrad. It's been it's kind of been a rough 2025 for an old guy. The older you get, the more things happen and more things going on. I got goddamn beard dandruff. Do you ever have that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, they dry out. You got to
moisturize them, right?
That's right. You got to moisturize, you motherfucker, you.
Yeah.
What's your moisturizing routine these days?
For my beard?
Yep.
I don't moisturize my beard.
What do you moisturize? I know you brought a lot of lotion on your wiener.
My face.
What about your wiener?
No, not my wiener, my hands.
What about your feet?
I moisturize my balls.
All right, tell us about that. When you moisturize your balls, what does that entail specifically?
Well, it's the stuff that
It's the what now?
Well, I don't think they're our sponsor anymore, but I use the stuff that they had our sponsor used to.
Yeah, I got you. But I'm just saying, what is the purpose of you rubbing things on your balls?
So I don't stink down there.
Stink for who?
For the general public.
The public smelling your balls?
You never know.
If the public's smelling your balls, you should consult a doctor.
Yeah, and I don't have to, so that's one doctor bill I don't have to worry about.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, we're excited to be with you today because there's nothing that Tony enjoys more than watching old school wrestling. And I know he probably prefers that we would watch a little Mid-Atlantic Championship wrestling, but this is what we might call Mid-Atlantic adjacent. Mm-hmm. Wasn't that long ago, I think within the last week, that WWE over on their vault on YouTube posted a show from February of '84 from Georgia Championship Wrestling. It's at the famed Omni. We're actually going to have a link in the description to our show, or you know what? Just type it in your Google machine because YouTube's got it. And it's on a channel they call The Vault. But the link is in the description. But this card is going to be something else. I just briefly want to run through some of the names on this one, and then we'll get busy watching our playback. We got Jesse Barr taking on Pistol Pez Watley. We got the spoiler in there with Johnny Rich. We got Mr. R versus Ted DiBiase. We've got Wahoo McDaniel versus Nikolai Volkov. For the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship, we've got Les Thornton defending against Tommy Rogers. For the NWA National Television Championship, one of the most beautiful belts you ever did see. Mm-hmm. It's Jake Roberts before he was carrying a snake to the ring against Ron Garvin before he became the NWA World Champion. And check this match out. For the tag team titles, it's the Road Warriors versus King Kong Bundy and Stan Hansen. But in the main event, Ric Flair defending the NWA World title against the one and only Brad Armstrong. Wow. This is a real treat, man. What a fun show this is going to be.
Arn Anderson always said the Omni was kind of like the Madison Square Garden of the South.
That's right.
So they would put big cards in there. The Georgia promoters would at that time. So, that's a great card, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing before they were stars type thing.
Do you have a special countdown for us today, Tony?
I don't, but I do want to. Do want to advise everyone that I had a broken tooth, and I had to get it pulled, and I'm getting an implant in, and I just had my after spending a month with these bones stuck up in my chin or my jawline. Um, they finally healed, and now they put the post in. So, and it's swollen right now, so I can't put my gimmick in. So I'm going to be doing this show like this. How's everybody doing? This is right from Pondwater Dave's house.
Oh my God. I love you so much for
Isn't
that.
that? Oh yeah. Hey, Pondwater Dave, how you doing, Woody? Good to see you. As you can tell, I got a damn Chihuahua mix right there, and an old lazy hound beagle right mix. Lay down, dogs. Stop shitting in the living room.
By the way, I love that you referenced Pondwater Dave. I don't know if you know this, but people were moved by the story that we shared from the group chat last week, where Pondwater Dave talked about, well, I believe it was a story about the first time he saw a cooter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 11.
And it was a story that only Pondwater could tell, but apparently people got pretty excited about it. And they wrote a song about it, Tony.
Are
Take a
you
listen to this.
When I was just a child, things at the store got pretty wild. A kind hooker with a heart of gold showed me a hiding place that was rather bold. When you work the streets, it's pretty rough. You need a weapon, so you're double tough. She put her leg up on the checkout stand, put her fingers on her elastic band. She gave her shorts a healthy pull, revealed her cooter and removed the tool. She popped it open and it was a knife. I'll remember her for all my life. I was 11, I was 11. That hooker showed me her slice of heaven. I was 11, I was 11. I saw my first vagina that day.
You know, listen, when you see genius, you got to recognize it.
You have to, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know.
Is that one of the best songs in the history of WHW?
That is tremendous. That's and it didn't take long for them to come up with that, did it?
No, I mean, we just told the story last week.
Right,
And
yeah.
we've already got, I mean, that's number one with a bullet.
Yeah.
We will
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we have that posted where you can enjoy it and share it.
Okay. We'll do it. All right.
Right now, though, I said we watched a little old wrestling. How about, can you believe, Tony, this was 30? Wait, no, this is 41 years ago. God damn, we're watching 41-year-old wrestling. You realize if we had sat down to watch 41-year-old wrestling in February of 84, we would have been watching. Do you know how long before that was? Oh,
yeah, we'd have been watching wrestling from the war years. WWII.
Not the WWE.
Nah.
The WWII.
II.
By the way, let me just say, you doing this with Snaggletooth Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, this right here, this is like your flu game for Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I've had this flipper in, and it's really uncomfortable now, and I've been able to get away with it on TV. I'm not so sure I can get away with it this week with the flipper. I mean, I'm not so sure how great it's going to sound. I may have a lisp.
I really hope that Harley Cameron sees you like this and is inspired to make a Tony Schiavone puppet.
Yeah, I may say, I may say, there comes that damn John Moxley. There comes that damn John Moxley. Some witch. Look, he's gonna beat up somebody. Somebody do something about him. Okay.
I hope MJF pushes you down again. All right. Without further ado, boys and girls, fire it up. It's on the WWE Vault. It's over on their YouTube. It's totally free. It's an Omni show with no commentary from February 26, 1984. Tony, when was Black Saturday?
Well, it was in 84.
July of 84. Yeah. So this is just a few months after this. So this is the dying days of Georgia Championship Wrestling. I think it's going to be, I haven't seen it. I've been waiting to watch it with you, but I hear the video quality is excellent, but no commentary. So let's watch it together here. You want to do the countdown, bud?
I'll do the countdown in 3, 2, 1, play.
Man, I know it's less is more and you can't do this anymore, but I sure do love just the lighting rig just above the ring. It makes it feel special.
Oh, yeah. Scrappy McGowan is the referee. The kid who is leaning up against the ropes from the outside, I should know his name. I don't, but he was always there working the ring crew.
So this is Jesse Barr and Pistol Pez Watley.
Right. And I have a feeling that I thought Scrappy was a good referee.
What do you think about those bell bottoms he's rocking?
Yeah. Huh?
How many bell bottoms did you have back in the day? Was that your go-to jean cut, bell bottoms?
I think I had one.
Really?
Yeah.
You're more of a mom jean guy?
Yeah. I think bell bottoms had run its course by 84, hadn't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess Georgia's on its ass, so they're just not paying shit. My man couldn't afford regular Wranglers. He had to get just mom's leftover fucking flared out Jones.
Flared out Jones. I very interesting to see how this whole card develops. And I say that because, now every card is crazy, right? But back then you worked up to being crazy.
Hey, I don't mean to ask a silly question. Who's the guy in the suit? You got two well-dressed business people. I mean, I can't tell, but that's certainly an older balding man with glasses wearing a blue suit and a tie.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's seated next to an African-American woman who's got on her Sunday best.
Yeah.
Are these some sort of, I guess what I'm saying is they're dressed too nice to be just a wrestling fan, and it's front and center. It makes me wonder, is that building management or those sponsors?
No, to be honest with you, I think that we had regular fans who came all the time
and just got dressed up.
And this may have been on a Sunday afternoon. They ran the Omni on Sunday all the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So this could have been a Sunday afternoon, right after Sunday I go to meeting church.
Dude, you nailed it. I just looked it up. This is in fact a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, okay. I said Sunday best and shit, I nailed it.
Yeah. And a lot of times they would run for instance, Ric Flair could work here on let's say it's an afternoon and then work the main event in Charlotte on a Sunday night, drive 4 hours up. They did a lot of double shots, as we've talked about. So, boy, Pez was a stud, wasn't he? God almighty.
Dude, I just would love to see, can you imagine in an alternate, if timing, we always say this, timing is everything.
Right.
But if he'd come along, in this more modern era, I think he'd have been a much bigger star.
Yeah.
There's something about him that's just interesting. Yeah. He's got charisma.
Oh, we know that when he became Shaska Watley.
Oh my God.
He was incredible. And look at his muscular development.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's strong. He's got powerful. He's well put together. And now Jesse Barr wrestled a lot in Florida. So, again, this was the Madison Square Garden of the South. So how am I doing, guys, without the tooth?
I love it. I think you're doing great.
Thank you very much.
I do want to remind you that next time you're worried that your nuts are stinking, worry no more. Thanks to Mando.
There you go.
Body deodorant, the safe to use anywhere on your body, your pits, your balls, your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your butt crack, even your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is just being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's been clinically proven to block odor all day long and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando comes in a couple of different forms too. You've got solid stick deodorant that's been formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. And you've even got a spray deodorant, which is aluminum free and ideal for hard to reach places. All the products are baking soda free and paraben free, and you can choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. It's been clinically proven to control odor better than just a shower with soap alone. So if you're ready to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go right now to shopmando.com. That's where you'll see that Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That's like 40% off your starter pack when you use the code WHW at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Yeah, baby. Absolutely. Your girlfriend will say, "Hey, you smell like Mount Fuji."
Hey, you know what's funny? I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
I actually have, real deal. Bang, Mando just hanging out right here at the house.
You never know where Mando's going to be, just hanging out.
The old Pro Sport, and it says it's safe for sensitive skin. Ding, aluminum free. And look right there, Tony, 72 hours right at the top of the deal.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool product, man. You know what's interesting too? I just learned this like a month ago talking to Eric. The lady who created Mando went to the same high school as him.
Wow.
I mean, not like he knows her, like
right, but yeah, but
first
same
name basis, but still, I was like, well, how about that?
Is that like Minneapolis? Did you go to high school in Minneapolis?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I know you don't watch, and I don't blame you. I get it. Who gives a fuck? But Charlotte Flair is wrestling a lady wrestler there for the belt named Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. And I think it's funny because I did a little research. Not only is Tiffany from the same town that my wife is from, went to the same college.
Wow.
And now she's wrestling my wife's sister at WrestleMania. I was like, man, that's kind of fucking, what a
That
small
is
world
weird.
that is.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So is look at the outside barricade.
No, yes, just less is more. How does concrete, just bare concrete and a couple of metal, not even bicycle racks sound?
Yeah.
Look at the ropes too. You can tell like,
oh yeah,
they're not perfectly straight. Those ropes have seen some shit.
Yeah, they taped them and then stopped.
Yeah.
People out in the front found their seat. There you go. Well, opening match. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Just had to go get us a beer here. Don't tell anybody from the congregation, but anytime I watch somebody total ass whooping, I sure do like to have, a little something cold to drink, a little cold beer.
Well, I saw Preacher Pondwater up there, and he was getting a beer. Did you guys know that?
No, I was too busy humming Neon Moon. I'm sorry.
No, well, look at Pistol while he won, honey.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He wins the first one. I think they went like 6.5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing special.
Next up, it's going to be the Spoiler taking on Johnny Rich. I'll be honest, I don't remember seeing a ton of Johnny Rich. I know you and I have seen a little bit of his stuff before. Did you spend much time with Johnny Rich? You got any Johnny Rich stories you can share with us?
I couldn't pick him out in the crowd.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Which is probably saying more about my memory than it is about him. Did they do an edit there, or did they just
Yeah, there's not even any commentary here, bud. This never aired anywhere.
Well, what I'm saying is, did they pull back and then all of a sudden those guys are in the ring, or did they get a minute out quickly? Because back then there was no entrance music back then. They just walked to the ring.
There was some, right?
Not much. I mean, well, I guess the Freebird started it all kind of.
But here's what I'm saying: they couldn't play unlicensed music on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
So even if they have the footage, they got to clip it out.
Right.
Yeah, so Johnny Rich worked for Continental. He worked for Championship Wrestling from Florida.
Okay.
He was around the NWA in '89. I know you weren't there, but he did pop back up in like 91. He was around a little bit in 92, but he was always doing extra stuff. So, like, you know, somebody's going to beat up Chris Benoit, beat him up,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
So is this Don Jardine? Is who this is? The spoiler?
That's the spoiler. Yeah.
Mhm. If I recall, Don Jardine, the spoiler, did some rope walking before the rope walking was
That's right. And the heart punch, I think.
right. He didn't take too good of a bump right there. So, did you ever get in touch with Pondwater Dave about all this shit we're doing for him?
What
All
do you
this-
mean?
You know, we're making him famous. Famous.
We named him on this show, Tony. He
Yeah,
was
but
super-
we got a song about that dumbass now. Does he know that?
Yes, he knows that.
Okay. How come he doesn't come on here with us anymore?
Well, he can come on here.
Well, he can. He doesn't.
Well, part of that is because you got to appreciate you're recording at night.
Yeah,
I mean, people need their Funyuns first thing in the morning.
I guess so.
So I'm just saying, you know, when we would record on the weekends or something like that, where he was more readily available, but at 9:30 where he lives, man, he's been asleep for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
He could at least one Monday out of every 2 months say, "Honey, I'm going to spend 30 minutes with Conrad and Tony." He could do that. You know, I'm tired of this excuse shit. This excuse shit's got to stop. Now, that's what I'm telling all you youngsters out there. The excuse shit's got to stop.
Talk to me a little bit about Don Jardine. I was a UFC guy.
Yeah.
And so the dean of Mean, Keith Jardine, is the first Jardine that I was familiar with. Certainly as an adult, I've gone back and started to learn more. I know he's got a book and I've read some stuff here and there, read a lot, and I've heard a lot of great complimentary things about him, like the rope walking, the heart punch. So I've seen some of the stuff. I've even seen him in some museum, I think, his boots and his mask, but he's one of the guys that
Here he goes.
I never met or talked to, or here he comes.
Yeah. Doing
What
some
a
rope walking.
spectacle that was too.
Yeah. See,
I mean, you got to remember, this is over 40 years ago.
right. Well, I never met Don Jardine of all my travels and all the things that I did. But I knew about him. I remember seeing him, and I remember seeing him walk the ropes. That's why I talked about it before the match started.
Yeah.
So that old bald guy with the glass on just raised his hand up there and said, "Spanky, get him off the ropes." Just real calm.
Yeah. I mean, not to shit on the Undertaker, but when Jardine was walking right there on the top, he wasn't holding anybody's hands either. Like, I know we see Commander do that all the time, and I know respectfully we've seen Action Mike Jackson do it before, but when Mike Jackson's doing it, he's also holding somebody like the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
But this fella here, he's doing it old
this.
school trapeze style.
Yeah.
And he's 6'4", to every bit of 250 pounds.
Absolutely is. Can I turn your attention to the guy in the yellow center?
I wish you would.
Okay, center, front row ringside.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about earlier. He came back with a little drinky poo.
Right, but yeah, I know we were talking about him earlier, but as the camera was going that way, it almost seems to me that he's somebody famous.
I
don't know. I recognize.
Listen here, you motherfucker.
What?
I was pitching that a minute ago, and you hit me with some. No, they just leaving church. So we're gonna go with they just left church. Because I asked if they were. I said they got to be somebody. Look at them, and you're
Well,
like,
everybody's somebody, Conrad. Son of a bitch.
I'm not arguing that, but I'm just saying for them to be strategically placed right there, that almost feels like. Like, you remember watching the WrestleMania when Trump was there? Shit, you were there for one of them, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I was there for number 5.
Just saying, they sat them in the front row.
No, I was talking the old African American couple on the left just came from church, but the people that sit down next to him. Oh, wait a minute! Back to the ring because the spoiler's going to walk again.
He's got the hand there. He's going to come down on him. This is his 3rd time up there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to have the hand on because this is the Flair spot. But
yeah. Thumb in the anus. Woo!
Patented, works every time.
Yes, it does.
How were you the first time you put a thumb in a butt?
Oh, God. It's been so long, I forgot.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that Dave Silva has more fun producing any show than this one. Because I mean, as soon as I said, "How old were you the first time you put a thumb in a butt?" he could not go to a solo shot of you fast enough.
Really?
I mean, it's like when the hit and he knew there was an imaginary question mark.
Yeah.
It was like I could snap my fingers and it would go right to a solid single shot of you. It was like, "Hey, Tony, when was the last time? How were you the first time you put a finger up a butt?" And he's just ready, like, "Okay, here comes the gold."
Yeah.
He's like the cameraman on a Girls Gone Wild thing. "Hey, did they sign the waiver? All right, here you go. I got the."
Let's bring Silva's ass on here. Dave, get on here.
Hey, fellas. I got to be Johnny on the spot. If Conrad makes a call, I got to be there. So
I don't know why, but buddy, it tickled me. As soon as I finished saying "but," you're like, "All right, one shot of Tony."
Because it's gold.
Yeah.
Whatever he's going to say, we can clip out and post everywhere to ruin his life. So let's get that tight right now.
Dave, you ain't worth a cold turd in the freezer, buddy. You just ain't.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. How you been, bud?
Good. I've been great. I've been fantastic.
God.
Well, it can't get any better.
They went good, and his whole body shook with enthusiasm.
Oh, there we go again.
Oh, God.
By the way, Silva, will you tell Tony that we're not doing Pondwater Dave a favor by talking about that song? He's doing us a favor by being our foil. I don't think that's clicked for Tony yet.
No,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
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 Because here's the rib on the whole deal, Tony. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Dave sent us the song.
He's so full of shit.
How great is that?
That's only a nugget of the stories that crazy hillbilly has. It's hilarious.
You know what? We need to get the tuna can song.
Oh,
we need a tuna can song.
We need a Pondwater Dave segment.
We can make that happen.
We should.
We'll have him.
I'm making notes.
Yeah, making notes. But also, when you send him a note, Dave, say there are no royalties available. This is just to put your ass over. Okay, this is for the exposure that we would give you. Okay, in other words, we ain't giving you a red fucking cent.
In other words, get fucked and stay fucked.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, here's how you really make money in the wrestling business, Tony.
Get fucked and stay fucked?
No.
Okay.
Pondwater, if you'd like to be on the show next week, we just need you to PayPal Dave Silva, and
it would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. My God.
We're not doing that. We're not.
What?
Yeah, we are. Hell yeah.
Throw me some potato chips or hot Cheetos or something.
I'll start wearing apparel that says Pondwater Dave paid for this. Like this.
Oh God. Oh God.
Tommy Rogers. Did we just cut to something? Did Don Jardine open this kid up like this while we were talking?
He's been brutalized.
Oh wow. Just yeah. Oh man. 40 years ago, wrestling.
Impressive squash win here for the spoiler.
Yeah.
Next up, though, we've got Ted DiBiase versus Mr. R.
Mr. R?
Yeah.
And
I think that's Tommy Rich.
Yeah, there, look at that.
Somebody say something about fired up.
Somebody say something about putting on a mask.
Somebody say something about lasagna. So, yeah, look at him. I'm putting that belt right across my waist. This is a loser leaves town.
Okay.
So, Ted DiBiase has to win or he has to leave town.
Which,
and this could be the last we see of Mr. R.
Okay. I like it.
By the way, we should mention this might be the last we see for a lot of folks because AEW pulls out all the stops on pay-per-view, and you know they're doing it this weekend in Los Angeles, California. Can't believe it's finally here.
Wow.
Tony, is this this is a rare Sunday pay-per-view. How about
I know it's been a Saturday a tradition kind of, but Sunday.
Yeah. I'm for it. Sunday. This Sunday, 0 hour, is Johnny TV and MXM taking on Orange Cassidy, Big Boom AJ, and Mark Briscoe.
My brother in teeth, Mark Briscoe.
Bet there's going to be a few booms in that one, if I had to guess.
I guess so.
We're also going to see Swerve and Ricochet. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
MJF and Hangman. The Hurt Syndicate and the Outlanders for the tag titles. Mercedes Moné defending her TBS title.
Momo Watanabe.
Steel cage match with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher.
Don Callis, unfortunately, will be around and probably sitting beside us.
I bet he hangs around for Takeshita and Kenny Omega too.
Bet he does too.
Tony Storm and Mariah May. Man, what a story that's been for the women's title. And the main event, I believe, is John Moxley and Cope. I mean, this is a pretty damn star-studded affair. It feels like, I don't know, man. AEW always over-delivers on pay-per-view, but this card is so strong on paper. This could be up there, like maybe one of the tentpole pay-per-views of the year.
Yeah, it has the potential. And I'm not, you may have it in front of you. I cannot remember all the revolutions we've done. I know the first one we did, that's where we had Kenny Omega and Hangman against the Bucks.
Oh my gosh, that was 2020.
Yeah, that was right before the pandemic, and that was by far the best tag team match I had seen in AEW.
Yes.
So we've had great matches during Revolution, and so and
going
of course,
back to pre-pandemic, Tony.
Right, we're going to be downtown where the Lakers play, Crypto.com Arena, and look forward to seeing all of our fans. Our buddy Rajiv, who's here with us tonight, he's going to be with us in Sacramento tonight with Dynamite and Collision tapings. So Rajiv, I hope my tooth holds up.
Are you how big of a Dr. Dre Snoop Dogg fan are you?
I love Snoop Dogg. I think he's so fucking cool, but as far as their music is concerned, no. Not at all. I'm very my music, okay? Let me explain to you my music. Okay? My music is basically on the countryside, George Strait, and that's about it. And then I like 80s music. And I like some 70s rock, and that's about it. So I don't listen to any of the. Are we talking about music here? Is that why the question came up? I don't listen to any of the current stuff at all.
Well, this isn't current, but they had a song from like, I don't know, 30 some odd years ago called Dre Day.
There's a lot of motherfuckers and bitches in it.
Well, they do have one line that I thought might actually work for you right now.
Okay.
Gap teeth in your mouth so my dick's gots to fit.
Wow. It's an awfully slim penis right there.
Well, I was wondering, like, is that how it came out? Like, were you paying some dues backstage or
no? I've been into a kind bar and it broke.
So I mean, we're watching. This is a safe space, Tony. You can talk to us. We're your friends, but we're watching a Tommy Rich match right now, so we all understand that sometimes you have to make a business decision in this crazy wrestling world.
Yeah.
Is that how you got one of your teeth drilled out? I mean, just tell the truth.
Yeah, a kind bar. That's how.
Okay.
Yeah. It was not kind to me.
No, apparently not.
No, I will never eat a kind bar again. By the way, James Alcorai, who's going to join us in Fresno in a couple of weeks. And of course, I'm sure we'll have about 5 or 6 packs in him by that time. Said no Garth Brooks. Never was a Garth Brooks fan. Were you a Garth Brooks fan?
I mean, listen, my parents listened to him some when I was a kid in the car, but like there's 0 Garth Brooks songs on my phone. Not one.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Bad Bunny Slim agrees with me. Dre Day is low key the best song on the Chronic album, and it was a great video. So yeah, gap teeth in your mouth so my dick's gots to fit is a lyric I'll never forget.
I bet.
Ever. And it's the only one that I know I'm going to hit every time that song comes on because I memorized it as a kid. Because I remember thinking, does the extra room from the gap in the teeth really offer that much wiggle room?
Wow, you really thought this out, didn't you?
Well, I put about as much thought into it as you did the Frilly toothpicks.
Yeah, right.
You're for them.
I'm for
Yeah.
them. Mm-hmm.
Hey, we got a question here from Coach Rosie who wants to know what is one of your fondest memories of the Omni? You know, we hear lots of Madison Square Garden memories, but you got any good Omni memories you can share with us?
Yeah, I've told this before. Let me tell it again. There was always and we were based out of Charlotte, and I was the ring announcer at the Omni for a long time. I say a long time, it seems like a long time, probably like most of 85, 6, when after Jim Crockett Promotions took over the TBS slot, I became the ring announcer for the Omni. And so I would drive down from Atlanta and ring announce, and all of our talent was based out of Atlanta because all of it was Jim Crockett Promotions, Charlotte based. There was always an 11:15 p.m. flight, Eastern Airlines, that made it from Atlanta to Charlotte. And, guys wanted to get on it. And so we had, and I was telling Dustin this story the other day, that Dick Murdoch was wrestling Dusty Rhodes in the main event at the Omni in a steel cage. And I remember before the show started, I'm in the back, and Murdoch says, "You need to help me out here." I said, "How can I help you?" I said, "Just keep things moving because I got to make that 11:15 flight." And of course, this is before all the security measures and everything. And I said, "Well, I'll do what I can." And he came out the cage. They built the cage. Now I know he's in the back, hopping on one foot because he wants to get that cage built so he can go. They get the cage built, and I roll in the ring, and he walks in, and I say, "You're not going to make that flight." And he says, "Watch me." And the fucking bell rung, and they went 5 minutes in a cage. The fans were so fucking pissed, but he was going to make that. He was going to make that fucking flight, and people booed him, and he did a couple of his curly Three Stooges spots, to entertain the crowd. And it was that's one of the things I never forget. And also I used to cut time. I think I've told this before. Scrappy's dad, Charlie, also, worked on the ring crew. I think he was in charge of the ring crew back then. He would be the timekeeper. And when we would have a main event that would go 60 minutes, Charlie would come out and he'd say, "Broadway for the main event." I go, "Fuck, I want to make the 11:15. And I look at Charlie and I say, "Well, unless somebody's got a stopwatch in the crowd, they'll never know." And they would actually go 50 minutes. Sometimes they would go 48. Because I would say with 5, we'd start at 5, right? And I would say at 4 minutes to go, I'll say 5 minutes have elapsed, when actually 4 minutes have elapsed. And so I would cut the time and then ring the bell, and there was a Broadway.
By the way, I should mention that we're watching now Les Thornton and Tommy Rogers. And Les Thornton is going to jump to the WWF, believe it or not, later this same year. He'll be on cards in Oakland in April of '84. But by August, he's even back in this same building, the Omni in Atlanta, working against Bob Orton. He'd be back here a few months later working against Bret Hart.
Wow.
Les Thornton is not a guy that I'm very familiar with.
Me neither.
What was your experience like? Do you have any experience with him at all?
No, I don't think he worked for the Crockett's at all. I guess if he came back in the Omni and worked, maybe he did, but I don't remember him at all. I remember Les Thatcher, but not Les Thornton.
He was around in 79. He spent quite a bit of time. He came back for a little bit in 81, only a handful of shows in 84. And he worked in May of this year, 84, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But he did work some of the towns that you're familiar with, like Columbia, South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia, Kingsport, Tennessee, Charleston, South Carolina, Sumter, Raleigh.
Yeah. Did you ever ask David this when you guys do the book or have talked to him in the past? Because the Carolinas, South Carolina was right between Georgia and North Carolina, and Charlotte was right at on the border, really, of South Carolina. I think Georgia Championship Wrestling and the Crockett's traded talent back and forth, or did a lot of, we'll send guys up for these shows and we'll send guys down for these shows. I think they did a lot of that because the Andersons were, when I was growing up in the 70s, the Andersons were World Tag Team Champions, but they also appeared on Georgia Championship Wrestling a lot. So I think there was a handoff of talent. Now I know that promoters did that a lot back in those days, traded talent, but I think it was more so between Georgia and Mid Atlantic. Just thinking.
I gotta say, I gotta call a spade here. When I read that this was for the World Junior Weight title, I did not expect this much mat wrestling.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying these days, the implication, what's implied when you say junior title, is we're going to see like a fast-paced boxing match.
Yeah, well, the WCW Cruiserweights changed that.
Yes.
I think. Yep, look at that. Just slowly came out of it. Once again, they're kind of just building up to stuff, right? You couldn't, the promoters wouldn't let you do it. You couldn't do a lot of crazy shit in the early matches because that crazy shit was going to be done later.
We got plenty more matches coming up here on this program. We've got Wahoo McDaniel and Nikolai Volkov next, and then Jake Roberts and Ronnie Garvin. The Road Warriors in there with Stan Hansen and King Kong Bundy. And our main event, Ric Flair and Brad Armstrong. Mm-hmm. And all the reviews I've seen about that main event are unbelievable. But I really can't wait to see King Kong Bundy and Stan Hansen against the Road Warriors. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I just wonder how much of... It's
going to be fast, right?
Yeah, I would think it is. I wondering how much of the Road Warrior shit that Stan Hansen will not sell.
I imagine we're going to see some lariats in that one.
I think so too.
If I had to guess. I don't have to guess about the pay-per-view this weekend, though. I'm fired up for it. I've already got a little viewing party lined up.
Really?
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed the Swerve and Ricochet stuff, the MJF Hangman stuff, the Ospreay Fletcher stuff. Takeshita and Omega is going to be awesome. But I do think maybe one of the best feuds of the last year and a half is Mariah May and Toni Storm. I just sign me up for that. And he got the Death Riders thing with Cope and John Moxley. Who doesn't love the Outlanders, Cassio Kid's favorite tag team? But that Toni Storm, Mariah May thing, that's some of the best stuff in the last year of wrestling.
There's a thought that it's the best angle we've ever done.
I can't argue that.
Yeah. We've certainly spent a lot of time and effort into it. And anytime you spend a lot of time and effort into something, you're going to come out with something pretty good normally. And we did. And of course, a lot of it is Mariah has become such a tremendous heel. And Toni Storm is, if you ask me, one of the great women wrestlers that I've ever been around. And I'm not talking only from her job as being Timeless Tony Storm and the character, but her in-ring work. She's great in the ring. So yeah, it's good stuff. And when she said on TV on Wednesday, or it was Saturday, she said on TV on Saturday, if you want this belt, you'll have to pry from my dead hips. That really popped me. You know, you're thinking dead hands and
Yes.
dead cold hips. Yeah. Good. Just and two women who have earned this spot. They've earned it because they've worked so hard and they've put so much time and effort into it.
We're not going to talk about politics on the show
Good.
at any point, but it is news that I
Oh,
got to ask you about.
okay.
Did you see that Linda McMahon was confirmed? She's officially a part of Trump's cabinet. Like, you know, when they were doing these hearings a couple of weeks ago, and we saw Shane and Stephanie and Triple H, it's like, I don't think there's been a picture like this in the history of politics where you're like, I'm pretty sure Stone Cold has stunned everyone in the photo. Like, this is a little surreal, Tony, that we're talking about a McMahon like within arm's length of the president. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, but it just shows you how okay. Go in your Wayback Machine and go here to 1984. Do you think someone involved in wrestling could have been involved in politics back then?
Can't imagine that would be possible.
Wouldn't have been possible. Just shows you how far wrestling has come in the psyche of America sports. You know.
I just, you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy to even imagine that that's a real sentence, but it is. I also wanted to get your take on the big news in wrestling.
Oh God,
You've seen this, but John Cena's a bad guy now. Did you see that?
I didn't see it, but I heard it. Somebody mentioned it to me that he turned on Cody. There you go.
Yeah. So a lot of people are drawing comparisons, of course, to the biggest heel turn in history, and I don't think that's necessarily fair. With all due respect, this is not going to create the second NWO and move the industry the way that one did. However, it's certainly the second biggest shock of all time because we all just sort of assumed it would never happen.
Right.
You think about the best heel turns you ever saw in wrestling in person. Hogan number one, and if that's the case, what's number two? Or is there a better one that you saw?
No, there's not a better one at all that I saw eyewitness. You know, I know I beat a dead horse by saying this, but I go back to Flair and Blackjack. Blackjack turning babyface was a big deal.
The belt and the robe.
Big deal.
The hat and the robe.
The hat and the robe. Because Blackjack was this big, burly, didn't sell shit, and just beat the fuck out of people all the time. Heel, and all of a sudden he's a babyface. So that was, you know, I know they turned Dusty heel too. You know, remember they put him in the NWO.
Yeah, but that
didn't have much of an impact.
No,
because they were doing all kinds of shit at that time. It was just another cog in the wheel, so to speak. Larry Zbyszko turning heel on Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, that was a big one too. But no, nothing smacks of Hogan.
Isn't that fun though when a guy turning heel like this can still matter? You know, like in the era of crash television, we'll call it Attitude Era on, like stuff happens so much. I mean, there's been jokes about how many times Big Show turned babyface heel. And so it just feels a little bit like, okay, yeah, we're over it. Some guys are good guys. Some guys are bad guys. Who cares? But because John Cena hasn't done it in forever and has been sort of a franchise player,
right?
I can't help but think that this might be one of the last big turns we ever see. Because almost everyone else, Tony, you can imagine being a heel or a baby face, but
right.
Like, I don't think there's somebody out there right now. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe one day, a long time from now, a heel Orange Cassidy could work.
That would be a turn.
That's what I mean. Like, as far as just didn't see that coming.
Right.
It's hard to imagine him as a heel. You know?
Yeah. And Will Ospreay, it's hard to imagine him as a heel. I mean, I know he's got a rough style, but he's so popular, you know?
Yes.
I mean, just He's unbelievably popular. Yeah, that's something. Heel turn.
Who do you think would be the biggest possible turn in AEW?
God.
I'm not saying you're predicting one or whatever, but
Uh,
the most over baby faces, I mean, obviously come to mind. And you think Will Ospreay's probably at the top of the list as a big one?
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I know that that Cope has turned heel in the WWE before, so he's
That's
been a
right.
heel. He's been a heel before.
And a great one too, Tony.
Oh yes, he was. Well, he's everything he does is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen his record? I saw somebody post that the other day. He's had a very impressive record. Like as far as wins and losses go. Like I appreciated when AEW first launched that Tony was pretty clear about saying he wanted a more sports-like presentation. So
Right.
stats were going to be a big part. And somebody posted a stat of his, and I was like, damn. Like, you know, quote unquote, if wrestling was real, wink, wink. Like
Mhm.
he's got a very compelling, I guess you'd call it strength of schedule and a win-loss record.
I'm sure he does.
But I don't think about things like that, you know, as a wrestling. I guess I just watch wrestling differently now. So I'm not really thinking about who wins and loses as much as maybe I once did.
What do you think Ric Flair's record would be if they kept everything? How
Now, Rick jokingly says he won 19 matches, or
Yeah.
he won 21 matches.
Well,
But
Rick always told me, and I repeat this a lot of times to some of the kids backstage when I hear a guy or a girl do an interview, a pre-tape interview, and they say, "Well, it was a tough loss, but I moved on." And I tell them, I said, never admit to losing.
yeah,
Even the fans saw it, you saw it, never admit to it. I said, Flair used to say all the time, he said, that's what heels do. We lose all the time, we lie about it.
that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, they lost all the time on the house shows, but he's probably right. You know, I would guess Ric Flair lost more house shows than he won in his career. But that would be an interesting number, wouldn't it be?
Oh man, can you imagine?
It'd be an interesting number to see how many matches he's had. That would be an incredible number.
There was a fabulous book that was put out 2 years ago that I think probably has all that.
Really?
I don't have that handy, but man, it was a fantastic book.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a record here because that would be kind of interesting to look at. So, according to Cage Match, so
Okay.
of course, you know how do we know?
Right.
But they max out, I guess, at 5,000. So they show he's had 5,000 matches.
Okay.
And of those 5,000 matches, he went to draws 9.5% of the time. So he had 475 draws. He had 1,972 losses, so 39.4%. And Rick won his matches 51.1%, winning 2,553 matches.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
He had more than 5,000.
Of course he did. Look at Wahoo and Nikolai Volkov here, would you?
What's interesting too is I'm looking at the breakdown. They show the most matches he had in a singular year would have been 1982 for 285 matches.
Oh, bullshit. That's wrong.
In 83, he had 248. In 84, it was 226. In 85, 247. In 86, 232.
Conrad, they wrestled every day of the week and twice on Saturdays and sometimes twice on Sundays as well.
Yeah. So he had more than that for sure.
Sure. I'll bet you Ric Flair had 450 matches.
Oh, there's no way he did 450.
You don't think so?
No. But I do think he broke the 300 mark.
Okay.
But again, you know, listen, who was thinking? I mean this respectfully. I'm a fucking nerd. I host wrestling podcasts. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, who was thinking way back then? Someday they're going to want to count the stats on these pretend fights we're putting on.
Yeah, who would be thinking back then? Someday they're going to want to have the footage. Have the footage, right?
Right. Or hear a story about how this
Yes.
random match with no commentary was put together.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no chance that Wahoo McDaniel thought that anybody outside of the Omni was ever seeing any of this shit.
Exactly.
Little did he know that 40 years later, long after he's been dead, we're
Uh-huh.
all watching
Exactly.
with a live audience internationally.
Mm-hmm.
People would be like, oh, fuck off. No, you're not.
What? You got to be kidding me. How's
What are you
that? How's
talking
that
about?
possible?
What are you talking about, boy? Give me another Crown Royal.
He was a man's man, brother.
I would have loved to have drank Crown Royal with Wahoo McDaniel. Rick says that he and I would have gotten along fabulously with our mutual admiration for Crown Royal.
Yeah. Yeah. Wahoo was good. Wahoo was well, first of all, he's a man's man. So you always went into it with respect for him.
That's right.
And he never disappointed. He was a good guy. And you know what? He didn't fuck around. He didn't fuck around.
Nikolai Volkov was not long for this world either. He jumped to WWE not too long after this.
Oh yeah, they were the Bolsheviks, right?
Yeah.
How's my word sounding without my tooth in?
I'll be honest, if you wouldn't have pointed it out, I don't know that I would have noticed. You can
Really?
hear it every now and again.
Yeah, on the fifth when you try to.
Yeah, but that's kind of it. Like I don't hear it otherwise. If you wouldn't have pointed it out, we might have almost finished the show before I figured it out.
Yeah.
But as I have to be honest, I'm not usually looking at your mouth either.
Good.
You got a pretty mouth, boy.
Hey, we do appreciate everybody who's been with us here.
Hell yeah, we do.
And James Alcor, Ira G, who's been with us. Coach Rosie from the beginning. Let's see. Bryant's here. Jim Pazinski is here. Bad Money Slim was here at one time. I don't know if he's still with us or not. Jason Taylor stopped going over tax forms to join us. We always appreciate you guys being with us.
Hell yeah, we do. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
And thanks for getting your wieners hard with Blue Chew. Have some better sex with Blue Chew, why don't you? Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew's offering a combo so strong it'll knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noise you're going to be making. Blue Chew Max has arrived, and it combines the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable. This combo acts fast and it lasts. Guys, be ready when she needs it and get your first month of Blue Chew free. Great sex is a few clicks away. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door, and the best part is it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Make your life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use promo code WHW. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code WHW. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
I wonder how 40 years ago someone reacted for us saying better sex is only a few clicks away.
They would think that we were walking in the woods.
Yeah.
Doing a military operation.
Right.
You know, hey, the VCs are 3 clicks that way.
Exactly.
And the hard wieners are 4 clicks that way. So, whatever you're looking for.
The language has changed.
A little bit.
Didn't Wahoo or didn't Scrappy just get thrown down and
I
think
think
he did
again.
again?
I think we're going to a DQ here. Next up, though, is going to be Jake Roberts and Ron Garvin. You're going to notice that Jake has Paul Ellering out here as his manager. This is the original Legion of Doom. That's right, boys and girls. Once upon a time, they were called the Road Warriors, and they had a larger faction, which included Jake the Snake Roberts, and that faction was called the Legion of Doom.
Okay. And did Jake have a cowboy hat on? Because early in his career, he wrestled with a cowboy hat on.
I'm not sure if he does here or not.
Do you like the thing I did with Harley Cameron on Saturday at the desk? Did you see that?
Oh, I loved it, dude. Where she named her finishing move. She is so good.
So good.
Yeah, so we've got kind of a fun deal here. Jake Roberts, the Road Warriors, Paul Ellering. I like that as a faction. I know we always gravitate to the Dangerous Alliance, as well we should. But I'm saying what a group that is, the intimidation factor of the Road Warriors, these huge, hulking, painted up, burly badasses. And then you've got Jake Roberts. I mean, one of the best talkers of all time, almost like a cult leader at times with his promos. Just really, really good stuff. I like that group, man.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you say the Dangerous Alliance was the de facto what we should always consider something?
Well, no, I'm saying like the Four Horsemen are the greatest faction. I think everybody knows and agrees with that. But I'm saying when we think about factions that could have been bigger if they had a little longer. Like the
Right.
Dangerous Alliance was so great, but it happened at a down period and it wasn't for very long. But if the Dangerous Alliance had happened when business was hot,
Right.
and there's no telling, because like what great talent you had. I mean, you had Rick Rude, you had Steve Austin, you had Bobby Eaton, you had Arn Anderson, you've got Medusa, you've got Paul E. Like what a group that is.
Yeah, you're right. It was good. It was good.
By the way, this is karate pants and pull on boots version of
Wow.
Jake. And that is the best looking TV belt outside of Crockett that ever existed. There's so much paint on that belt. The backdrop looks like the old set that they had on WTBS on Georgia Championship Wrestling.
It kind of looks like it's the same shape as the NWA World Title belt.
There's so many of those that were like the tag titles once upon a time were like that. Like
right.
That design was really, really popular. I don't know if you saw, but Paul Ellering recently released from WWE, so he is a free agent, and Jake Roberts still doing his thing in AEW. How about that?
I didn't know Paul was released.
Yep, a few weeks ago.
Of course, his daughter Rachel is one of my buddies.
She's the best.
Her and Chris Hero, great, just two great kids.
Chris Hero's forgot more about wrestling. You know it.
I know. He's always. He always makes a point to come see me and talk to me, and we text back and forth. And I'm glad he's one of the guys I'm glad I got to meet,
Just a good dude.
Yeah. And I've seen some of these matches too, man.
I wish, and I understand, timing's everything. We talk about it all the time. Mm-hmm. But man, in an alternate universe, he'd be enjoying a lot of success today.
Oh, yeah. He sure would. Yeah, so now we're like, 4 or 5 matches deep into this, and they do with a rear chin lock to begin things.
I mean, it's a different era.
It sure is.
And I know that there's a lot of people who say, oh, what we see on TV today, that ain't wrestling. It's like, I'd love to sit them down and make them watch this show. Hey, this is good.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue or try to pretend that this is more entertaining than what we see now.
No. There's a place in the universe for all of it.
Yeah. And listen, most of the people who, wax nostalgia about how much they loved it back then, it's because it was a part of their childhood and they have some sort of shared memory here. And I get that. But I'm saying if you didn't know what the hell any of this was or who these people were or any of that, and you're just plopping down to watch it cold for the first time, I think what I see on Wednesday is a little more entertaining.
Yeah. Coach Keith Morrison is up and at 'em at about 11 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. Hello, Coach Keith. He always wakes up around this time and always checks in. Look at Ronnie Garvin, would you? Wow. Got a lot of. When's the last time you saw Ronnie? Did he come to a Starrcast? Did you have him at a Starrcast?
I saw him last January. He came to Tampa and hung out for like a little Top Guy, low-key, big hog get-together in Tampa.
Okay.
And he, as luck would have it, he's got those hands of stone that he carries around.
Right.
And he knocked out Cassio. So.
Well, you know what? As you do.
As you do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some live questions here.
Okay, let's get to the live questions. It's time for Ask Tony live questions. Go ahead.
Coach Rosie wants to know, Tony, did you ever go to Magic City after an Omni show? Or Tony, have you ever been to Magic City in Atlanta?
No, I don't know what Magic City is.
What about the Blue Flame?
No.
Okay. James Ilkerai says, if you were an overseas fan and you have tickets to Cena's last ride and you got bad guy Cena, would you be upset?
No.
That's actually a decent question. Like,
no.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
It would be special to see his last ride, regardless of what he is, heel or babyface. And then you never know if it's really the last ride. Like, how many times has the rock group Kiss retired?
Yeah.
So, there's always some promoter out there say, I think we can make a lot of money with one more round. And there you go.
So we got to do a few more questions here. Bryant wants to know, F, Mary, Kill, the Omni, Boston Garden, and Madison Square Garden.
I would kill the Omni.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Marry the Boston Garden and screw Madison Square Garden.
Wow, you love Boston. Why do you love the Boston building so much?
Old school.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the TD Garden now. We're talking.
Yeah, you're talking about where the walls were sweating.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, where the Celtics won 182 championships.
Right. Yeah, where the train ran by and the building shook.
Hey, have you seen that? I guess HBO starting tonight is doing a series on the Celtics.
That would be HBO Max.
Yeah, my bad.
Max.
I'm supposed to just say Max. I'm sorry.
They're doing a series on the Celtics?
Yeah, Bill Simmons. Talking about all of the Celtics. No, you love basketball. You love the Celtics. And I know you personally have a lot of love for Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I really... Hold on. I thought I smelled dog shit here. But I guess we were just talking about Bill Simmons.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Why do you hate him so much?
He was
critical of your work once, and
very much so. Yeah.
You don't afford people the opportunity to be critical of your work.
No, I think people can be critical of my work.
In fairness, he wasn't critical of your AEW work. He was critical of your end of days WCW work, where even you don't like listening.
That was terrible.
Yeah. So then, what the fuck you mad at him for?
You ever read anything about him?
No.
Okay.
I got you.
He apparently is not a nice person.
I got you. Well, neither are you.
I'm the nicest person you'll find, motherfucker.
I mean, in every group email that's ever been sent, you reply back to someone that says, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, but that is with affection.
See, that part, we don't get that. There's no tone to text.
Okay.
So if you said,
well, I'll do a smiley face
and you said, fuck you, I would know you were joking. But by email, and I know your fuck yous by email are joking.
Okay.
But to a lay person,
okay,
they just think this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
And then I tell them you ain't got no teeth. Mm-hmm. And you ain't had Cooter since Cooter had you.
Yeah. And
they're like, well, no wonder he's ill.
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking about the John Cena turn. When people started drawing comparisons to the NWO, they said they were signs, Tony, that if you were watching the show closely, you would have seen the signs that maybe he was going to turn heel. Because if you squint your eyes, you can kind of make out the NWO.
That's bad.
If you're watching along with us here.
That is terrible.
Well, they're really leaning into this whole scene as a heel. He used to come out through the curtain and have his bright neon colors on, hold up a towel, like a rally towel. And usually would say like, hustle, loyalty, respect, or never give up, or some sort of motivational saying. But man, they've gone the other way with it. Look what he's doing now.
Take that down. My bronchitis is acting up.
Folks, if you've ever wanted to see a 70-year-old with no teeth wearing a hoodie, losing their breath and hacking up bronchitis, viral bronchitis from a John Cena joke.
I'm not 70 yet.
How many more days you got?
Me? I got 3 years.
1,000 days.
Okay, 1,000 days.
1,000 days in year 70.
But who's counting?
Well, we're going to do a countdown.
To 70?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great who did Dave Solo build that?
No, that was just on social, and I saw it and said, "Hey, so we got to do this for Tony."
Oh, God.
Speaking of things we got to do for Tony,
Yeah.
You have seen some pretty brutal accidents and injuries in wrestling.
Yeah.
You saw Sid
Snap his leg.
Oh, is that number one? Do you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Buff Bagwell's neck. That was a bad one.
Oh man,
Yeah.
major. I mean, it's live TV,
right?
And anything can happen.
Right.
I mean, as I've always heard people say, it ain't ballet.
Yep.
Well, I think this might be. I don't know if you're squeamish or not.
I am.
But maybe you need to get ready to turn your head because this is one of the more shocking and memorable injury videos in the history of professional wrestling. And it happened this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The legend Blue Panther was injured. Let's take a look.
Son integrantes de los Divinos Laguneros.
There you go.
Blew out his knee. I heard about that.
Walked through the curtain.
Uh-huh.
And blew out his knee on the entrance ramp.
To be honest with you, I was watching the girls. I was. The Blue Panther's down. What? Where? Oh, that guy?
I teased this thing and told you the spoiler. Hey, the Blue Panther goes down.
Uh-huh.
Here's the short video. Take a look. And you immediately go, titties. Just looking at that. Is there something else in the video, Conrad? I just missed it. I locked in.
Yeah.
I got focused.
Yep.
On that sweet, sweet titty meat. And I didn't look at anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach Rosie and James Okori on our live chat right now are leaning into this Disco Inferno thing. 3 things. Fuck Disco Inferno, fuck Coach Rosie, and fuck James Okori for bringing up his name.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Hey, speaking of James Okori, he wants to know, what is the balance between calling the match you're seeing in the ring and promoting the main event? Why do you not step all over the match, but yet promote the main event?
Boy, is that a tough one. That is a tough one. It's sometimes impossible to do. I like to think when I'm doing collision, I'm able to get it all in, but sometimes you just cannot. And sometimes, when we do collision, when we do a pre-tape of collision, right? Like we're going to do in Sacramento, then I'll come back here on Friday and do voice repairs. And a lot of times the guys in Nashville will cut out like 30 seconds for me to promote these 3 venues coming up, tickets available here and here and here. And I'll look at that thinking, guys, we can't do that in the middle of all these high spots. Now, I get it. It's television. You don't have to call every spot. And Tony and I and Excalibur and I have had a lot of discussions about this. But it's a very, very difficult thing to do. And sometimes you think you got a spot on live TV that you can promote it. And Tony will be in the ear and says, don't do it now. So you don't really know. So I'm telling you, it's a great question, James, but I just cannot. It's just almost an impossible, difficult thing to do. It really, really is. To the point to where I had brought up to Tony one time, why don't we cut out 30 seconds at the beginning of a match, okay? before, let's say we have a Tony Storm pre-tape, right? Come back out of break, Tony Storm pre-tape, and we're getting ready to go to the ring for Orange Cassidy. Before we go to the ring, take a crowd shot, 30 seconds, and have me hit these 3 venues. Let's go to the ring. Okay. And a lot of times they don't want to take that 30 seconds away from the guys in their wrestling match. But I think that would be the best way to do it. I always thought that would be the best way to do it. If you go back in the day during this era, we didn't do any promoting this era in the 80s. We just absolutely talked about the matches. That was it. We put over the talent, and the local 2.5 minute promos in the shows were the ones that sold the tickets. But that is one of the more difficult parts of what we do now. It really is, because the action's so fast. Things are happening so much. You don't want to ignore it, because if you do, sometimes you feel like you're doing a disservice to the wrestlers. Because if I'm in the middle of saying tickets available at crypto.com arena at AEWTI, and somebody hits somebody with a tremendous drop kick, I need to react to it, right? And you've probably heard me say many times, more times than I would like, I'll be in the middle of promoting something, and I'll stop and pick up with something else. So,
good question, buddy. Keep
Yeah, it
those
was.
coming. We got a man down here.
Yeah, that's Ronnie Garvin got DDT'd on a chair, and that's back when the DDT was a sinister move. Now it's a high spot. See how wrestling's changed?
Coming up now, boys and girls, is the Road Warriors versus Stan Hansen and King Kong Bundy. Jim in Buffalo says, King Kong Bundy was always a guilty pleasure for me. Any memories of working with him? Did you spend any time with Bundy?
0.
Wow.
He and I are the exact same age, both born November 7th, 1957. But never, I don't think I ever met him, to be honest. I don't think I ever met him on a autograph signing or anything like that.
Man, you want to talk about some characters. How 80s is this? Stan Hansen, King Kong Bundy, and the Road Warriors.
Yeah. This is old school paint Road Warriors too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, they're going to go 15 minutes and 22 seconds.
Wow. Stan Hansen, man. Yeah, I mean, it's well documented. You've heard this, haven't you? Stan had bad vision.
Yeah, blind as a bat.
Right, yeah.
Supposedly, if he wasn't wearing his glasses, sometimes he'd hit you and sometimes he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'd pull the punch and sometimes he wouldn't.
It's funny, the stories that I've heard about guys in real life. And there was this wrestler one time, and he worked with us in the Crockett's. I don't know if David's mentioned it to you or not, but he was in the front office, and he was a good man. His name was Sandy Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandy and I shared an office together at Jim Crockett Promotions back in the 80s. And he would tell me stories, and some I remember, some I don't. But what I do remember was one about Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods. Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods was just a fantastic star and a great amateur wrestler. And he could do some things in the ring that were just really, really just good, slick, good moves. Sandy said, though, that he was, in real life, he was a clumsy motherfucker. He said he would go in the ring and he would do all this crazy shit. Boom, 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 boom. He'd tag, he'd go through the ropes, and then he'd fall on the floor. He'd misstep on the apron and fall on the floor. Then if he's up on the apron of the ring, they tag him in, he'd trip over the ropes, get in the ring. But it's just, and Jake Roberts, Stan Hansen being blind, right? That's another one. You just don't. It's just amazing that they were able to perform with, being like that. A lot of clumsy people in the world, like guys who bite into a kind bar.
I was fixing to say, you're talking a lot of shit for a guy who ain't got no front teeth. You did the job for a fucking protein bar, and you're over here talking shit.
Don't say teeth when it's tooth. TOOF.
Well,
okay.
There's people like you is the reason they call it a toothbrush instead of a teeth brush.
I tell you, I when I first got my flipper in, I put it in. We were at a show and it was early in the day, and I sat down beside Mark Briscoe and I went, "Hey, what you doing?" He said, "That's what I'm talking about." Which, if you don't love Mark Briscoe, God mighty, is he the most entertaining son of a bitch in the world? God,
He is one of the funniest. I mean, I would have him on every fan event I could.
yeah,
Like if it's a fan engage, like, hey, we need somebody to go to the news. We need somebody to go to the local radio station. We need somebody to, like, that dude. First of all, you can tell when you meet him, he's never met a stranger.
no,
And I know that people think that that is an act. That's him with the volume turned all the way up.
it sure is.
And boy, is it fun. I mean, just his pronunciation on words. And I say this as a hillbilly dude.
Yeah,
But he was talking about going to the bathroom once in the last month or so that I heard.
yeah.
And he said, I got to go hit the toilet. And I don't know. I didn't know there was an A in toilet, but when he said it, I was like, well, you better head that way.
That's too much.
I don't know. Just him just saying the toilet, it just made me laugh. And it was like, dude, how do you not love this guy? How do you not root for this guy?
When it's all said and done, for me in wrestling, which is coming up rapidly, as we all know, when it's all said and done for me in wrestling, what I'm going to remember more than anything else are the people that I got to know and meet and become friends with, and the road trips I took. And I don't mean on an airplane. I mean in a car between towns, 3.5 hour drive here. As we call it, as Don Callis and I have called it before, rebooking the territory. Which I just love that term. Because, you know, everybody's in the car together, always has an idea about how to do something better.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the people I meet. Give you a perfect example. Mike Hegstrand is one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. Road Warrior Hawk. One of the baddest asses ever. Came across as the meanest motherfucker on TV, but in real life, just as sweet and nice and giving and caring as you'll find. That's a perfect example. You get to know them on a personal level than the persona that they play on TV.
Yes.
And of course, people tell me or ask me many times, haven't heard it recently, but I used to hear it throughout the years. What is Ric Flair like in real life? And my answer is, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that I really know that's like that. Eddie Kingston too, kind of. What you see is what you get with Eddie Kingston.
How fucking pumped are you going to be to see that dude back on AEW TV?
Man, I can't wait.
He's so good, dude.
Yeah, and you know, I've been in touch with Eddie a lot, and but you know, it's nothing like, you know, talking to him face to face.
That's right.
Yeah, making me laugh, and you know, he's just a special guy. He really is. And there's so many more. I mean, look, Cody Rhodes was a special guy.
Oh, of course.
Was a special guy. And when I think about Cody's life right now, I have mixed emotions. I'm very proud of him. And I know his dad would be very proud of him being right now the biggest star in wrestling. But I really wish I was still working with him. So that's the mixed emotions I have about Cody. Oh, which reminds me, you know, we were talking about Dustin's coat last time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that anymore.
Oh, you asked him?
Yeah, I did. I told him, I said, well, take a look at it on a video, get it made, and wear it for your last fucking match, dude.
Fuck.
I said,
I got the guy who can make it too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because
you want to talk about a badass last match? He walks out to that old song wearing that old jacket. Come on.
We talked about the old song too. Yeah. He said, fans love that old song. I said, yeah, hell yeah. It's a cool song. That's how it needs to be your last match. I said, bring your dog out with you.
No pyro.
No, dog shit himself. I mean, if two grizzly bears have pissed themselves on pyro with Big Josh, the dog gonna shit himself.
I really wish that we could just pause time and let everyone hear the sentence you just put together. That everyone listening to this knows exactly what it means. But if we played that sentence
Uh-huh.
for someone outside of the wrestling bubble,
Uh-huh.
when I said no pyro though,
Uh-huh.
you go, well, yeah, the dog will shit himself. But if you've had two bears and a tiger
Uh-huh.
walk out and piss themselves the whole
Yeah.
way down the ramp,
Yeah.
you know, like with Big Josh, like it was done in such a way where it's so detailed. That you got like, is this make believe? Is this real life?
Yeah.
What are you saying right now,
Part of my life's a make believe, dude.
dude? It's
It is.
just absurd at times.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. You know, you mentioned the Road Warriors, and they were going to go 15 minutes. They have,
Yeah, dude, they're
And
doing it.
and they're doing a lot of wrestling here. Look at this, just an arm bar. Working on Stan Hansen.
What characters, man?
Yeah. Look at this. Just wrenching on the arm. See, for like a spot.
Do you think? And obviously, we know they were big stars and made a ton of money and blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
But in an alternate universe, do you think that if the Road Warriors would have jumped to Vince, like in this era, February of '84, if they would have been there at the first WrestleMania, they would have been in on those first LJN action figures.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they would have been even bigger stars? Like I know we've said it even 3 times during this show that timing's everything, but I just can't help but wonder, man, if they were there when wrestling got hot,
Yeah.
you know, rocking wrestling and being on MTV and whew,
They'd have been mainstream. That's what it was. It was mainstream.
yes, yes, well said.
Yeah. Look at that lady, front row. She jumped up and down those. Yeah, look at that. It's popping in the bird.
She's fired up.
Oh man, she is. Yeah. No, that was mainstream back then. They would have been mainstream characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the
Listen,
way, that looks like my aunt who
really?
just sat down. I mean, I know it's not.
Yeah.
By the way, we haven't talked in real life, but unfortunately, the aunt I'm comparing her to passed away last week.
Oh, I'm sorry, Conrad.
Yeah, my dad's sister.
Mm.
And
That's
her
tough, I know.
funeral's going to be Friday. And yeah, that was not a great way to get the weekend started. Found out on Friday.
Sure, I'm sorry. My best to your dad.
Yeah, man, I hate it for them. You know, mom and dad had an accident at their house. Like, there's a reserve tank on their hot water heater, and it burst, and it
Oh,
was in the ceiling, and so it got down into
oh, good
like
God.
multiple rooms and behind some vanities and under some tile and
Oh,
messed up some hardwood and some baseboards. So they got a moving company coming to pack all their shit
right. Yeah,
so they can redo all of it and blah blah blah.
that's terrible.
So while we've been recording,
Uh-huh.
my mom has coordinated that. My mom and dad are going to be moving into my house.
Wow.
So my mother-in-law moved out and went home.
Yeah.
She's actively trying to buy a house in the town I live in now.
Mm-hmm.
And now my mom and dad are coming to stay with me until their house is being finished being remodeled.
Wow.
Which, here's a spoiler.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be on the timetable they think it is.
Uh-huh.
Any advice on living with a family like this, Tony?
Yeah, just we had Chris and his wife and his 3 kids. Actually, his 2 kids, and then they Jackson was born while they were living here. We had them live in our basement because we have a bathroom, full bath in the basement, and a bedroom. It's not that any longer, but it was at one time was a bedroom and a living area. We had 3 rooms, and so anyway, and we just let them do their thing, and if they wanted to interact with us, they did, and I didn't have any problem with it. And I stayed out of their lives, and they kind of stayed out of ours. Now, not all families will do that, but just one thing about it, Conrad, time goes by quickly, believe it or not. And sometimes things happen to where you think life is going really slow, but I'm sure you can identify with that.
Yeah, it's the last 2 years of my life.
Right, exactly. Right. But in reality, it goes by quickly and things turn around for the best. Hey, I saw that DJ Turnup has showed up.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. DJ Turnup, by the way, and I guess we're running out of people to give us bonus podcasts. We're behind on doing the February bonus podcast, but DJ Turnup has given us one of the bonus podcasts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess I guess the roller rink or the strip club has closed down. I don't know. And he's back at home, or he just may be in the car with a girl. I don't know.
Tony, when was the last time you went to a strip club?
Me?
Yeah.
90s, maybe.
The 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Went in there with Barry Windham.
Really?
Yeah.
He hit a bitch with a superplex or what?
No. And Missy Hyatt was in there.
Wow. What, she was dancing?
No, she was drinking.
Like y'all went with her, or you were there and then she was already there.
She was already there. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it was weird.
Does she have a gentleman caller with her, or
she had a girl with her?
Oh.
Yeah.
Missy's fun, sounds like.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the 90s. So I hate strip clubs. Hate them. Have we seen any of King Kong Bundy in this match before?
He's fucking got the hot tag and wearing
Well,
him out.
yeah. I mean, Stan Hansen has been in there the whole time. Yeah.
It makes sense though.
It does.
Yeah, help me understand. When you said she was in there drinking, like, did you go sit at their table, or did you just wait?
It was at the bar. It was at the bar.
Okay. Do you remember what town this was?
It was Atlanta.
You don't remember the name of the strip club?
I guess it's a famous one downtown, the Cheetah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was after a center stage show, I think.
The Cheetah Lounge.
Yeah.
I think everybody who's been to Atlanta has been there.
Yeah. So it's still open?
Yeah. I went with Michael Hayes a few years ago. King of Diamonds is there. Magic City. Blue Flame.
It's funny, the Cheetah used to advertise their food, and used to advertise their steak dinners. And Michael Hayes would say, "That's exactly what I want to do. Eat a steak dinner with a naked girl dancing above my steak."
Well,
he didn't say it that way, okay, but
yeah, he said it a little differently. But I'll be honest, that doesn't sound like the worst plan. I had a steak dinner, but the missus kept her drawers on tonight.
Okay.
So,
yeah, but
it's always hope for tomorrow.
Yeah, oh God. Oh, the Road Warriors are leaving. Looks like we're not going to get a finish. Or we got a finish and we missed it.
Come on now. You think there was a clean finish with the Road Warriors?
Oh, shit.
You know what happened.
Yeah, look at those ladies standing up, clapping for Stan Hansen. That woman on the right there is just clapping her ass off. Look at this. With the high bouffant hairdo.
That's a fucking cool match we just saw. And now it's time for our main event. It's going to be Ric Flair and Brad Armstrong for the world title. They're going to go 20 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well,
this show has flown by.
Yeah, it has. That's because we had a lot to talk about.
And less is more.
Absolutely.
I mean, an hour and 47 minutes, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, the idea is, hey, sometimes we want to overwhelm them with value. I get that.
Yeah.
But, dude, this is a fun show. Look at this flash bulbs going. I wonder if we can hear anything. I'm going to check just a second here.
Okay.
Nope. We get a Flair entrance, but just clapping.
Yeah, no music.
That's the Starrcade 83 robe. That is the Kerry Von Erich robe. I don't, I know that is an iconic robe, but he didn't really have any like this until his retirement robe.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me as much as some of the other styles. But him being a North Carolina guy in that light blue color, that kind of hits.
Yeah. Boy, Brad from behind looks like his dad here, doesn't he?
Dude, when I saw still footage of
Yeah.
them or still photos of people uploading it, I thought it was Bullet.
Yeah.
Thought it was Flair and Bullet.
What a tragedy Brad is, man. Jeez.
You know what I think is interesting? It's none of my business. I don't, whatever. But we never hear from Scott Armstrong anymore.
He's not
And
doing
from what I understand, he lives in like the Gulf Breeze area down there by Pensacola. So he's around. But like, when was the last time we saw him do any appearances or anything?
Does he still work behind the scenes for Vince?
No.
I mean, sorry,
I said
WWE?
Scott, I mean Steve.
Steve. Oh, Steve. Yeah, I don't know anything about Steve at all.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what? He doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's his fucking life. I mean, do what you want to do, but it just feels like
That he could make some money.
you'd be hanging out with your friends and
Right.
telling people lining up to tell you how fucking great you are and they love your family and blah blah blah, and then you go like this and then they give you some money.
Yeah.
That's the whole deal. But like, I guess he had like a match in 13, a match in 14, and a match in 15. And I guess that's kind of been it.
Yeah. You know what's difficult about going out and doing autograph signings?
What's that?
Is that you go to your table and you sit there and you get a line of people. And the lines don't last for long unless you're a big star. Then they'll wrap around, of course. But you want to go see some people that you haven't seen in a long time.
That's right.
But you don't want to leave your table because maybe someone wants to come see you and you won't get the money, or you'll make them stand there. And I've done that before. I've walked around to see everybody and I come back and there's like 4 or 5 people waiting. I'm thinking, fuck, I'm sorry. Because you want to walk around, see everybody, and you need to stay at your table. That's the difficult part about autograph signings. That's all I'll say about that.
Shout out to Megan Nelson, who I know has been an MVP for you at some of those before.
She's unbelievable.
Carnival barking.
Absolutely.
In an alternate universe, she's a very, very, very highly effective salesperson.
Yes. Yes, she is. And that's why she's so good at doing what she does for me when I go out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had her and Rebel Carnival barking for you?
Jeez.
I mean, it's like getting those fucking traffic control guys on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like just wave the money in this way.
Walk through this way.
Yeah.
There they go. Side headlock takeover.
I mean, just classic old school shit. Look at those boots too that Flair's wearing.
Yeah. I read RF on it.
I think those are the boots he wore when he won the title from Harley in December of '83. This is the same outfit, but those boots are just fucking ugly as sin, boy. It's interesting to think how much things have changed. Like there's so much more money in wrestling now, but even like, I mean, clearly not to be funny, they had steroids back then, but just like self tanner, that wasn't that didn't. You had to go to tanning beds or lay out in February of '84.
Right.
It's not like everybody had a tanning bed in February of '84.
Right.
But there wasn't like this bottle and you shake that shit up and rub it all over yourself, or stand in a booth and somebody spray you. It's just interesting to me how much. I mean, like, look at the crowd. There's no cell phones. There's no signs. It's just different. It's a different era.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about how cell phones have changed our lives.
Sometimes for the better.
Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But it's staggering because everything I have is in the cell phone.
That's right.
Everything. I even have a little magnetic wallet on the back of it to keep my driver's license in. And I have all the credit cards in there, and you can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I can look up my bank accounts. I can make payments. I mean, my whole life is in that cell phone. And it's just amazing how what it's done to our lives.
You still got that Wiener Picks folder?
No,
Deleted that.
Deleted that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a Wiener Picks folder, and there was a Conrad shows his ass folder. I got rid
You
of
don't
both
have
of them.
more than 5 or 6 dozen on my asshole, though.
Well, that's more than you need.
Oh, sure. I think
Yeah.
one's too many.
Yeah.
What do we do on this show? Do you know?
What's that?
Why do we do the things we do on this show?
Because you are
I get bored.
you're an obscene guy and shit talking guy, and
I'm an obscene shit talking.
I have to go to mass. I have to go to one, two. I have to.
They don't let you in mass with no teeth.
We'll find out. I have to go to confession on Saturdays if I'm in town after you and I have done the show.
And you say, "Dear Lord,
it's Conrad.
Hang out Adam Page for burning down Swerve's house. They took it too far. I'll talk to the boys."
Please have lightning strike MJF. Thank you. Amen.
At Roll Tide.
Mhm.
You know, listen, a lot of times you hear, in wrestling, and the good guys are the bad guys, and the bad guys are good guys. And I know that everybody likes to say that.
Yeah.
That is not true with MJF. Just a terrible piece of shit, terrible human in real life.
When he's walking backstage, I'll go, "Oh, Jesus." I'll turn and walk the other way.
He's just the worst, dude.
Yeah.
The dirt worst.
Yep.
Nobody likes him.
No.
I don't think there's even a person walking around in the backstage area who would say, "Oh yeah, Max is my friend." Said no one ever.
Yeah, I mean, he trained with a bunch of guys, and
They all hate him. They don't
all
speak
hate him. Yes. But you know what? You forge your own way, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You reap what you sow, as the old cliche goes.
Yeah, I saw he got his tattoo removed. I wish he'd be removed.
Yeah.
Just get rid of his ass.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking about getting another tattoo.
Man, I was hoping you were going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we tell everybody what you're going to put on your body permanently, forever? No takebacks?
Yeah. I may have a picture of it here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Can we show it on YouTube?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay.
Okay.
You ain't got to get hot about it.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Okay. I talked to
You make a face when you're looking something up on Google and
like an old man face.
Yeah, but now there's that black hole in your mouth.
Okay.
Boy, if there's, we have like 6 ladies who watch this show.
We do.
Yep.
Okay.
They got to be getting pretty excited seeing you with that gap teeth in your mouth. Got to fit.
Got teeth. Yep. Teeth. All right. Here it is right here. I will do a copy. And so Dave Silva will wake up. I will send it to him. Since he's our producer somewhat. I had a friend of mine who has a lot of tattoos explained to me that the simpler the tattoo, the better. That if you have a tattoo with a bunch of colors in it and a bunch of intricate designs or whatever, through time, it becomes like a blob. So,
You're looking to get blobbed out.
No, I've been blobbed out for years. So I just sent that to Dave, and Dave, when you're ready, you can put it up there. But I think I'm gonna get this put right below the Superman logo that I have on this side. I just, I like them. I like tattoos, and I could never afford them before. So, fuck it, I'm doing it.
How much do tattoos cost, bud?
Oh, Jesus Christ! The one that of the dog.
I got all my teeth. I don't have any fucking tattoos.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can educate me.
So the one on my left side of my dog, I had redone.
Yeah.
I know I've spent $1,500 on that.
What the fuck you say?
Yeah.
For somebody to draw on you with an ink pen?
Yeah, basically.
All right. One born every minute.
Yeah. There's a million born every minute.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know if that's the best idea, but let me go ahead and give you a good idea. If you're looking to grow your business, look no further than conradsguy.com. I'm talking about my friends at Envision Marketing Consultants, specifically Eric Nichols. I got to tell you, I started advertising my mortgage company back in 2009. I bought like every radio and TV station I could find. And then the opportunity presented itself. Hey, the internet's really growing. You need to spend some money on digital. That's what they would say, these TV and radio reps. And they'd get me excited about all the possibilities. And I give them a big check. And then 30 days later, they check in. And I say, well, nothing really happened. Oh, well, you got to stick with it 13 weeks. So I give them another big check for another 30 days. And then I do it a third time. And then I'm like, hey, got to see some results or this is it.
yeah.
Well, that was it. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were fantastic at selling radio and TV, but they weren't keeping up with what was happening on the internet with digital marketing. I mean, have you ever heard the phrase jack of all trades, master of none? Well, that's what a lot of these TV reps are. That's what a lot of these guys are doing. I'm not crapping on them. I'm saying, hey, man, they're salespeople. I needed someone who was a professional, a specialist. I needed Eric Nichols. My leads went up. My understanding of what I was buying went up. My overall understanding of the space went up. I'm a big believer in this. I want you to go look at it at conradsguy.com. And by the way, it costs absolutely nothing. If he takes a look at your business and says, hey, you guys have a pretty good plan right now, he'll just tell you that. But if he sees an opportunity to grow with things like SEO, pay-per-click, targeted display, streaming on Hulu or YouTube or even Amazon, Eric can help. Go right now at conradsguy.com. I'm talking to you if you're selling B2B, if you're retail, if you're food and beverage, manufacturing, nonprofits, even mortgages, but even small business owners. We've been able to help people who have window cleaning businesses or plumbing businesses or whatever you're trying to grow. You can grow it with digital if you're growing with the right person. And that's conradsguy.com. Eric Nichols, Envision Marketing Consultants. He helped my business. He'll help yours too. Go check it out. conradsguy.com. Now we're talking over a hell of a match here. These guys are wearing it out.
Yeah, Brad throwing a couple of real good drop kicks. And Ric Flair doing a great job. A lot of side headlocks. And that's because Ric Flair's calling a lot of spots. He's calling the whole match.
Yes.
And he's doing it right there with his head down and his face up against Brad. So
when you think about the best drop kicks in wrestling history, I mean, I think you would probably include guys like Brad Armstrong,
yeah,
Jeff Jarrett,
yeah,
Lance Storm,
Okada.
Oh yeah, great one.
Yeah.
Steve Austin has a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Pillman had a good one.
Tremendous.
No, we're not talking about good tattoos. We're talking about good drop kicks. But let's take a look at Tony's proposed tattoo and decide, is this a good tattoo? Oh.
So that's on the inner part of his forearm. Mine will not be on the inner part of the forearm. Mine's going to be on the shoulder. So just, just black. That's all. Black ink.
But you're going to do this on the shaft of your penis?
No. I'm going to do this on what I just said. I'm going to do it on my shoulder. You obviously weren't listening.
Well, I was looking at the photo, and I mean, I'm not exactly sure what area I'm looking at there. I think
that is a guy's inner forearm.
Okay,
that's something. I do have to get a hot belt because
that's a Snickers vein on top, Tony.
That's what?
A Snickers vein.
A Snickers vein?
That's a wiener vein right there on top.
Oh.
Below his chest logo.
Okay.
Those are wiener veins, like on a Snickers bar.
Wiener veins.
Are you making out with a dog?
No, I got to hold him sometimes. Tell him I love him.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah, he's a good boy. He can be
Hey,
be a
I
stinker,
watched.
though.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Baby came to see me.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, look right
Hey,
there.
look at here. Hey, look at this.
It's the official dog
Hey, look at her. Isn't she a beauty?
of what happened when.
Oh God.
She's been crying because I've been gone all weekend. I was at the
Bet.
beach, but I'm home now. She
Mhm.
missed me.
Nothing like it, is it?
No, they're the best. Look at us.
Yeah, holding her dog.
Just a couple of old friends holding our little baby dogs.
Brian had asked a question here. How's the new pup doing? Well, he's doing fine. He is a stinker, Brian. I mean, he plays with those beagles, and they're bigger, and he just jumps on them all the time. The one here, Kirby, he and Kirby sleep on my bed, so that's why they're in the bat cave with me. And what dog breed do you want to get, but Lois won't let you? I don't think there's any dog breed at all that Lois would say no to. She loves dogs every bit as much as I do. As a matter of fact, there goes Flair face first. As a matter of fact, we both have a fondness for pit bulls, and of course beagles that we have now. And I don't know, you saw Jeff Jones got a pit bull recently.
Dusty, the bull of the woods.
Yeah, the bull of the woods. That's something else, man.
I think that's so great. I tried to encourage, stupid ass Matt Coon. He got a dog over the weekend.
Yeah.
He adopted a little boy dog and named him Fred.
Mm-hmm.
He was going back and forth on the names that he might consider for the dog.
Yeah.
And I pitched Crockett. I think
Wow.
Crockett would be a cool dog name.
That is a cool dog name.
But I think Oli or Tully would be a good dog name.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do that. People will think I'm a fucking mark. So anyway, here's my fantasy card for WrestleMania. And I'm like, buddy.
Yeah. Don't want to hide it, you dumbass.
There are worse things than being known as a mark. But Crockett, Oli, or Tully would be great dog names.
Yeah, Crockett is great.
I mean, I want a dog. Like, I think we've kind of decided Megan wants another dog now. But, I got 2 great dogs.
Yeah.
It feels like when you get 3 dogs, you might as well have 13.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, don't you agree? Like, 2 is manageable, but 3 is like, man, this is a lot of dogs.
Yeah, we got 5, and it's crazy. It's absolutely fucking nuts.
But I've always been told that the threshold is 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 feels manageable, but 3 is like, oh, this is, I'm outnumbered.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Listen, we got go ahead, and then I'll
the next dog, Crockett. That's what we're gonna go with.
Okay, that's good. I went to Seattle to get this little guy, and he was part of Motley Zoo Animal Rescue, and it's right outside of Seattle. It's way outside of Seattle, about an hour in the woods. And there are 2 girls who run the place, Jamie and Patty, and I give them money every month now, and they do such a great job. They've got their own podcast, and I don't want to bore people with this. And if I'm boring you, I'm sorry, but it certainly is it's a love of mine. They got a podcast called Rescue Shit. Isn't that cool? They have a podcast. So I thought it would be cool just to have them jump on with us sometimes, just to say hello and give their rescue a little publicity, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Coach Keith says he's got a 14-year-old dog. This has become a dog podcast.
It has.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, Ric Flair and Brad Armstrong, notice how the match started out, side headlocks, takeovers, roll-ups, and now look what it's become.
Getting hot now. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Ric Flair called match, man. This is when Ric Flair was great. Upside down he goes.
Just hanging.
Now he added something to that, he used to run on the apron and clothesline him out. But Ric Flair's called this match, and he's got the fans going too, man. Just how you can tell the fans are going? Subtly, the camera is shaking. You'll see the camera shake a couple of times.
Look at the empty seats in the front row, Tony.
Yeah, you know what? That couple,
they were
right Right before this main event, she got the wheelchair out and rolled him out of here. And now we got kids in the front.
Well, respectfully, they were probably smart enough wrestling fans to know, hey, we like Brad, but he ain't gonna win the world title tonight. Let's beat the traffic.
Right. Believe you me, where the Omni was, there's traffic.
Well, I'm just saying I've done that. I went to WrestleMania in Dallas. The main event was Triple H and Roman Reigns. As soon as they started Triple H's music, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and head out.
Yeah.
And got out there and got in the cab line and got the fuck back to the hotel. See you later.
One, two.
You know, Tony, you were talking earlier about videos and how sometimes when you're calling play-by-play on a video and you've got to promote the main event or some other initiative, it's hard to wear two hats where you're trying to shill and sell and keep the viewer sticky and hanging on for the main event and also calling the action. And sometimes you have to do that even when it's not wrestling. Sometimes you even have to do that in cooking shows, Tony.
Uh-huh.
Found a pretty fun example and thought I should share it with you here.
Okay, here we go.
I remember when I was a kid growing up, my friend Justin and I wanted to make a roller coaster, so we started saving money by putting our lunch money in a shoebox. And after about 6 months, we had a couple $100 in there, but it turns out that my friend Justin's sister's boyfriend had found the shoebox and he stole the money to pay for an abortion. Okay, this is looking just about ready. So the first end to go in has already been cooking for 12 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take that and we're just going to drape the end over the side of it and give the other end another minute to catch up.
Well, you know what? You got to get the word out, right?
Word out?
Well, what I'm saying is if you've got this down in your heart and it's eating at you and you've got a forum, you've got to get it out. Flair, foot on the ropes, wins it.
Damn it.
And that lady in the back is pissed, man.
Yes, she is not. Look at that guy throwing his jacket on.
Yeah, that's fucking it. Yeah, you got to just air it out, don't you?
I mean, I guess he did, but I don't know that.
What the fuck?
Man, what a spectacle this was. Georgia Championship Wrestling, February 26, 1984.
It's a regular house.
You know, listen, I enjoyed that. I hope that WWE and their Vault channel, they throw up some more old school stuff like that because I think that was a good idea. Speaking of good ideas, I talked to my buddy and actually got to watch a little wrestling this weekend with my buddy Bart from the Meat Mart. He came over and we watched Collision and it was great. And we got on the topic of tattoos. And I told him about, I've got a friend of mine that I grew up with here in Alabama and he's got a tattoo on his knee. It's of he's got like a musical instrument there. It's a banjo tattooed right on his knee. Because he comes from Alabama with
a banjo on his knee.
And he stood up and he said, all right, so here's my idea. This is Bart, my buddy Bart. He says, I'd like to get Kermit the Frog just full life size tattooed on me. And I'm like, life size, but bear with me. Like if Kermit was real, a real Kermit tattoo, like on Bart's leg is Kermit's leg. On Bart's other leg is Kermit's leg. And you know, you see Kermit's whole body, but it's got just Bart's regular human man junk. So when you looked at Kermit, it'd be just Kermit with a white dude's ween.
That is some creative shit right there.
I think that might actually be cooler than your Batman on your dick shaft tattoo.
I think it is. Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're out of dogs to pet. We're out of Flair matches to watch, and we can't discuss wiener tats any longer. It's about that time.
And I don't want to wake up the old dog here because he's such a good boy. One day let everybody know that we appreciate you being here with us. And we appreciate Dave Silva being here with us as well. As you guys don't know Dave, we know Dave very well. He is so full of shit that he is brown in color.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't he? That's why he's the color he is. He's brown in color. He's full of shit. For Dave Silva, Conrad Thompson, everybody else who joined us tonight, even that fucking no good DJ Turnup, I'd like to say, join us next time on What Happened When. We come to you each and every Wednesday on, what is that? Where are we on Wednesdays now?
Libsyn and YouTube.
Libsyn and YouTube. But Mondays we come to you ad-free and only on
Patron, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.